Omajnanatimantasya Chanansanaka Shaksharanmitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Chichetayamanopishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svam Rupakadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shio Shiyuda Padakamanam Shigum Vaishnavamsa Shri Rupam Jagajatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lita Shri Vishakam Vitam Sam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dino Bandhu Jatpate Gopesha Gopka Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwar Vrishabhanu Sutadevi Pranamama Hare Priya Vancha Kalptubhisha Kripasan Vaivasha Patnam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namo Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pistaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamini. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine. Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paskatyai Desatarani. This morning we will read from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 18. Maharaj Parikshit cursed by a Brahmin boy. Text 33. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Cheva Narotam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jamudirayat. Nastvesya Bhatrasu Nityam Bhagavatasevya Bhagavati Uttamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Text 33. Aho Adharma Palanam Pifnam Bali Bhujam Miha Pifnam Bali Bhujam Miva Swamin Yagam Yadasanam Dvarapanam Sunam Miva. Word for word translation. That Aho, just look at Adharmaha, irreligion, Palanam of the rulers, Bifnam of one who is brought up, Bali Bhutam, like the crows, Eva, like Swamini unto the master, Aram sin, yet what is Darshanam of the servants, Tvarapanam, keeping watch at the door, Sunam of the dogs, Eva, like. Translation. The Brahman's son, Shringi, said, "Oh, just look at the sins of the rulers who, like the crows and watchdogs at the door, penetrate sins against their masters, contrary to the principles of governing servants." The purport by Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. The Brahmanas are considered to be the head and brains of the social body. and the Kshatriyas are considered to be the arms of the social body. The arms are required to protect the body from all harm, but the arms must act according to the direction of the head and the brain. That is a natural arrangement made by the Supreme Order. For it is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita that 4 social orders or castes, namely the Brahmins, the Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas, and the Sudras, are set up according to quality and work done by them. Naturally, the son of a Brahmin has a good chance of becoming a Brahmin by the direction of his qualified father. And as a son of a medical practitioner, has a very good chance of becoming a qualified medical practitioner. So the caste system is quite scientific. The son must take advantage of the father's qualification and thus become a Brahmin or medical practitioner, and not otherwise. Without being qualified, one cannot become a Brahmin or medical practitioner. And that is the verdict of all scriptures and social orders. Here in Shringi, a qualified son of a great Brahmin attained the required Brahminical power, both by birth and by training. But he was lacking in culture because he was an inexperienced boy. By the influence of Kali, the son of a Brahmin, became puffed up with Brahminical power and thus wrongly compared Maharaj Pariksit to crows and watchdogs. The king is certainly the watchdog of the state in the sense that he keeps vigilant eyes over the border of the state for its own protection and defense. But to address him as a watchdog is the sign of a less cultured boy. Thus, the downfall of the Brahminical powers began as they gave importance to birthright without culture. The downfall of the Brahmin caste began in the age of Kali. And since the Brahmanas are the heads of the social order, all other orders of society also began to deteriorate. This beginning of Brahminical deterioration was highly deplored by the father of Shringi, as we will find. Read the verse once again. Aho adharma palanam pifnam bali bhujam iva svaniniyagam yatyasanam dvarapanam shunam iva. The Brahman's son Shringi said, "Oh, just look at the sins of the rulers who, like crows and watchdogs at the door, perpetrate sins against their masters, contrary to the principles of governing servants." So, Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamani. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharani Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paskachai Desatarini. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So here, Shringi, the son of Samakarishi, he became very arrogant and proud, thinking himself as a member of the higher class, the Brahmin class, and considered him higher than the Kshatriya class. But this pride within the heart, of Shringi was a sign of his disqualification as a Brahmin. That this is not the quality of a Brahmin. Pride is a demoniac quality. Thinking that if pride arrives in the heart, or comes up in the heart, that it comes with the conception that I'm the doer, that I'm the actor, that it's due to being contaminated with layers of false identification. That we heard in previous chapters how Kali was, our Maharaj Pariksit confronted Kali and forbade him to reside in his kingdom. He could only reside where there is gambling, or where there is prostitution and gold and gambling. But that was completely absent at that time in Maharaj Parikshit's kingdom. But Kali made a plan to get himself into this, to get a plan to expand his influence. And it was quite a tricky plan, because he was thinking in the Brahmins are the head of society. If I cut off the head, the society is finished. Then I can do whatever I want. That so, as such, he made a plan and entered the heart of Shringi. That and contaminated him with lust. That pride is caused by lust. Lust, I want to be the controller. I want to be the enjoyer. Therefore, thinking myself, I'm better than the others. This is mentioned in the 16th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. There you have the mentality of the demoniac, which is described as, yes, so much wealth do I have today, and I will gain more according to my schemes. So much mine is now, and it will increase in the future more and more. He's my enemy, and I've killed him, and my other enemies will also be killed. I am the Lord of everything, and that's the basis. I'm the Lord of everything. So Singh was thinking, the Brahmins are the Lord of everything, of all the others. And I'm the enjoyer, so I'm perfect, powerful, and happy. That there is none so powerful and happy as I am. I shall perform sacrifice, I shall give charity, and thus I shall rejoice. In this way, such persons are deluded by ignorance. So the essence here is, yes, I'm the Lord of everything. I'm higher. But that was not the purpose of the Varnashram system, to make the Brahmins higher than the Kshatriyas. No, they had just a different role, but they were of equally importance in the system. That the Brahmins would instruct the Kshatriyas, the rulers, how to rule according to the religious principles. Religious principles, making sure that everyone would act and do his duty according to the Varnashram system. So the Brahmins would provide education that for everyone, free education for everyone. That and the Kshatriyas, they would protect everyone. The Vaishyas, they would be engaged in cow production and agriculture and commerce, and they would provide all the needs of everyone, of all the others. And then we have the Sudras, who were supporting the Vaishyas and the other classes with so many services. So that was a peaceful society. No one had to worry about this maintenance, about this protection, about this education. All things were provided. That was natural in this system. It was a peaceful society. But Kali was going to ruin the social system of Varnashram. He was going to abolish it. And his plan was make the Brahmins, spoil the Brahmins, make them proud. And pride comes before the fall. That the Brahmins and demoniac qualities do not go together. So Shringi became an unqualified Brahmin by that. Because Brahmins are by nature humble, detached. But Shringi was not. He was proud about his position. So like Kali made that plan and it succeeded in that plan. And by that, the downfall of the social order was started. In Bhagavad Gita says, Udat Atman Atmanam Atmanam Avasadyat Atmevi Atman Adyatmana Bandhu Atyeva Repo Atmanam. With the mind you can degrade yourself or uplift yourself. Bandhu Atmatmas Tasyayan Atmana Atmana Chichan Atmas to Satyat Vevachtet Atma Satruvat. The mind, when it's controlled, is your enemy. But when it's uncontrolled, when it's controlled, it's your best friend. But when it's uncontrolled, it's your greatest enemy. So Kali made a plan to bring down the Varnashram system. If we have a mind which is polluted by lust, anger, greed, and so on, then this mind will misuse the intelligence to make plans to destroy us, to bring us down. It's the same principle. Because the Brahmins are the mind, are the intelligence of society. Especially they are the intelligence which keeps everything going. Not intelligence which is religious, according to the religious principles, according to the scriptures. Not, and he wanted to destroy that. Prabhupada in the purport says, yes, this Shringi signifies the downfall of the Brahmin caste. They became unqualified as Brahmins. They lost their Brahminal qualities. Like Shringi was thinking, I'm a Brahmin because I'm born as a Brahmin. And at that time, Brahmins were very qualified. That's what Prabhupada says in the purport, that if one is born in a family of a medical doctor, it's a good chance you become a doctor, but you must go to the university, pass all the tests and practical tests before becoming a doctor. Narada Muni instructs that also to Yudhishthira Maharaj, because from the 11th till the 15th chapter of the 7th canto, he speaks about the Varnashram system. Many chapters, duties of Brahmins, Kshatriyas, or Vaishyas, Sudras, and then the duties for all living beings, and then the duties for the ashrams, for the brahmachari, hyasta, sannyasi, vanaprastha, is all explained there in detail. But there is one verse which is interesting, 7:11:35. Yasya laksanam proktam pumso varna bivanyakam yattanya tapadishtita tattaneva vinirtishat. 7:11:35. If one shows the symptoms of being a Brahman, a Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Sudra, as described above, even if he is appeared in a different class, he should be accepted according to those symptoms of classification. So it said, one is qualified as a Brahman, Kshatriya, whatever, if one develops the qualities of a Kshatriya, qualities of the Brahmins, and so on. And they are all described, well, the essence of that is described in Bhagavad Gita. That's in the 18th chapter. Samudamatamastacham Shantiyavan Mevasham Jnana Vijnanam Astakyam Brahmakarma Svabhavacham. Peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom, religiousness. These are the natural qualities by which the Brahmas work. So Shringi did not show self-control. That he just followed his mind, thinking himself on a higher platform than the Kshatriyas, and started to blaspheme. Maharaj breaks it, saying you are like a watchdog, like a dog. A watchdog never comes into a house, it's not allowed, and should not go into the house without permission. So you are a watchdog of the Brahmins. You should not have come into the hermitage without the permission of the Brahman, Samakarishi, my father. That's, he was clearly saying, yes, that we are better. That shows his purity as a Brahmin was lost. His tolerance was gone. So the psychology of a Brahman, purity, tolerance, that there was a boy, Satyakama. Satyakama went to a Brahmin guru, I forgot his name, and he asked, can you accept me as a student? And the guru asked, but what is your family lineage? Are you a Brahmin or Sudra or that? And Satyakam said, I don't know. And the guru said, ask your mother. His mother was a prostitute, and his mother said, I don't know who your father is. I was visited by many men. I don't know. So Satyakam went back to the guru and said, my mother doesn't know. I don't know. And the guru said, yes. Oh, you are very honest. You don't hide this, that your mother was a prostitute and so on. You are very honest. And honesty is a quality of a Brahmin. So I'm accepting you as a disciple based on the symptoms that he found him qualified to be a student. Yes, honesty is a quality of a Brahmin. That, our godbrother Sarasvati from Holland, I hear her she told me that Bhakti Sharma asked her, I'm thinking of giving you Brahmin initiation. And he asked her, what are the qualities of a Brahmin? And she honestly said, I don't know, Guru Maharaj. And Guru Maharaj said, Bhakti Sharma said, that's very honest. That's a quality of a Brahmin. So I will give you Brahmin initiation. I found that very funny. But anyway, that was in the 90s. Up in the 90s, you did not need to have a Bhakti Shastri degree for second initiation and all these things. That was not existing. I remember 1 year after I got first initiation, they needed pujaris in Radhadesh. And the temple president, Chaitanya Prabhu, said to Bhakti Sharma, you give him second initiation. And he gave me second initiation. It was not much of a thing. That was very simple at that time. But today, of course, Brahman initiation means that one is as knowledge, as wisdom, as a certain level of wisdom. Therefore, they introduced Bhakti Shastri for second initiation. But yes, these are all these qualities described. The qualities of a Kshatriya, Saryam Dechudritidaksham, Yudhishap Apalayanam, Dhanam Ishvarbhavshat Kshatriyam Karmasvarbhavacham. Heroism, power, determination, resourceful, courage in battle, generosity, and leadership are the natural qualities of the work of the Kshatriyas. And Kshiko Rakshavanyam, Vaishya Karmasvarbhavacham. Paisharyatmakam karma sudasha visvabhavacham. Farming, cow protection, business are natural work for the Vaishyas. and for the Shudras, they are labor and service to others. So that is a summary. But Shringi became proud, and by that, a Kshatriya is in the Vedic times, they are by nature submission to the Brahmins. But if the Brahmins start to think, I'm higher, I'm more, and they lose their humility and they become proud, what do the Kshatriyas do? They cannot stand it. They reject the Brahmins. That, of course, they cannot reject a qualified Brahmin. That would go wrong. Because in the Vedic times, the Brahmins, they were very powerful. And the Kshatriyas were always afraid of the Brahmins because they could curse them. That they were afraid. But if the Brahmins lose their quality and they become proud, and the Kshatriya perceives that this Brahmin thinks that is more than me, then they reject the Brahmins. And that is what happens. And then the society was without head. And that was the purpose of Kali. And he got his point. In Kali Yuga, no Brahmins are qualified anymore. They lost all their good qualities. Rare to find a qualified Brahmin. Qualified Brahmin is a pure Vaishnava, but otherwise the Brahmins are all impure in Kali Yuga. And then the Kshatriyas without head, they started to rule, but their purpose was not religious anymore. They started to rule to rule for their enjoyment, exploit the people, and put heavy taxes for them. And what happened? Yes, the Vaishyas were thinking, oh, they are exploiting us. And the Vaishyas decided, let's rule and fight with our capital. And the Kshatriyas who are in favor of what we want, we will give them riches, and the others we put aside. So they were ruling with their capital. Ruling with capital is capitalism. Capitalism was born from the as the first degraded form from the Varnashram system. Of course, they started to rule with their capital, but then the Vaishyas started to exploit the Sudras. And the Sudras said, no, we don't want that. And they started a revolution. And this was the birth of communism we see today. So it's all the created Varnashram system that it started all with Shringi, puffed up. It's a big lesson for us. Whatever success you achieve through your devotion service, never think it's yours. Never become proud. If pride is in the heart, the fall down will follow. Krishna does not want that. But during the rasa dance, Krishna was expanding himself and dancing with each gopi. At a certain moment, the gopis were thinking, we are the most fortunate women in the universe. And at that moment, Krishna disappeared. If someone is proud, pride is followed by fall down. That our consciousness with which we do things, if we think we are the doer and I will achieve it, sure you will become frustrated. That's the laws of nature. If you strive to get this and to that, material nature will not cooperate. From the moment in devotional service you say, I give it up, the attachment, I will use it all for Krishna. Krishna can take it away or whatever he does, wants. Krishna can give you unlimited wealth to use in his service because you are not attached. But when you are attached, Krishna will more be inspired to take it away from you. Because this attachment is non-devotional. It's the beginning of the demoniac life. This is mine, and for my enjoyment. So this is the story of the downfall of the Brahmins, that which is, of course, explained expertly by Srila Prabhupada in the purports. They say, by the influence of Kali, the son of Brahman became puffed up. That was the plan of Kali. That so he addressed Maharaj Pariksit as a watchdog. That, of course, that doesn't say much in the West because most homes are full of dogs. But in India, a dog does not belong into the house, but outside the house, at least formally. Dogs were not allowed in the house. That is in the mode of ignorance. That animals are in the mode of ignorance. To keep them into the house is a sign of ignorance. But, so this is the downfall of the Brahmin caste. But when Samakarishi heard it, he became very unhappy. He said, you have cursed Maharaj Pariksit for such an insignificant offense that Maharaj Pariksit, who was protecting the Brahmins and everyone who did such an expert job, now who will protect us? You are the cause of many calamities to come into the future. Samakarishi went to Maharaj Pariksit and asked to pardon him, to forgive him. But Maharaj Pariksit had already decided, let the curse come. I don't want to counter curse it. It's the will of the Lord that I will leave this world in 7 days. And he wanted to prepare for that leaving. That and just absorb in Krishna at the border of the Yamuna. That and it was also the will of the Lord that the Srimad Bhagavatam should be spoken. Krishna had left this world, but he remained with us in the form of the Bhagavatam. And that was Krishna's purpose, that should be spoken. That and Maharaj Pariksit wanted to go with Krishna's plan. That sometimes calamities happen in our life and we try to fight against it, but better to accept it as Krishna's mercy. Does not mean that you should not try to improve your situation, but accept it as Krishna's mercy. And it is Krishna's mercy, but we see that afterwards. Queen Kunti understood this calamity is Krishna's mercy, because then I can take shelter of him. That's, yeah. Sometimes as devotees we are also in distress, but there's an opportunity to take shelter of Krishna and to chant more sincerely. It's a blessing in disguise. It's a bitter pill to swallow for most of us. But once we accept it, we become peaceful in the greatest calamities. And that is what I could say on this verse. Any comments or questions, please? Yes, Mother Veneria.
Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I'm very thankful that you talked about this topic, pride, because yesterday I've read in the book of my Guru Maharaj, as this forever present book, as the last book before he gave up as a body, that as you were writing about the connection between humility and anger and pride, and that pride is the reason behind it. And if we experience service as a burden is also due to pride, so that we are not aware enough about that this is a blessing, and that that is the best we could have. My questions are, how can, also 3 years ago, through the mercy of my Guru Maharaj and Shri Radha Madhavan, I received second initiation, and I see myself very far away from these qualities. As the only thing I would say, I clean much more, as a little more cleanliness is there. Also how I can come closer to these qualities, and also I see still, it was much more pride at the beginning of Krishna consciousness, but I still see the tendency that there's still some judgmental attitude, ne? Also with external things from somebody or so, and this must also be pride, because if I compare with someone, that means and somehow I think I'm better, ne? Or so. Also not very. It is more subtle. It's not so strong anymore. But I would really like to overcome these things.
Yeah, that is a wish of many of us, I think. But to develop Brahminical qualities, yeah, study the life of Srila Prabhupada. That will certainly help you develop these qualities by seeing in his example. That I've also my Guru Maharaj, who was very sattvic, or very clean in everything he did. And we try to follow in his example. That it's not easy in this world. We are under the influence of the three modes, and the three modes come into our minds. And one day is not the other day, going up and down. But we should try to be very fixed in what we are doing. So associate with those who are in goodness, that who are giving the example in terms of Brahminical behavior. that for many also following even if they get second initiation, you follow a deity worship seminar with practical workshops, and they will learn you how to be clean. But it is important. Of course, it means also education, to become a Brahmin, educating oneself in the scriptures. Read every day a chapter of Bhagavad Gita, verses and translation, and a few purports that always do something related to the scriptures. It's so important. That's also Brahminical qualities, and engage in deity worship. Deity worship helps you to be clean. That we can try our best like that, but it's a process. Like if devotees who are full-time pujari, who have service for dates in the morning and the evening, sometimes at noon, that that regularity helps them to become very sattvic and surrendered. So we can learn from advanced devotees in that way. Does that help?
Yeah, thank you very much, Maharaj. So on Mondays, I'm allowed to read the Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita here in Golokadam, so instead of the Bhagavatam class. And these days for me are always very special. Also when I read the Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita, there's a lot, yeah, a lot of mercy and insights. Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, we have that in Radhas also. On Monday, we read Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita, and on Thursday, we hear a class of Prabhupada and discuss the class. Yeah, that's a nice practice. Good. Is there anything else? Okay, then we will stop here, and I look forward to see you next week. I'm in Bulgaria now, so I will be in Belgium in Radhadesh next week. Okay.
Thank you.
Krishna, Jai Prabhupada.
Thank you, Maharaj. Yeah.
Thank
His
you very
Holiness
much.
Bhakti Prabha Maharaj ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Guru Maharaj.